Yo, well, going everyone, Sanjuchi here. Welcome back to the channel where today, guess who's back? Yeah, and yes, that is a reference to the fourth opening of Black Clover. But yeah, we're back on the Black Clover train in terms of covering my experience and just what I think of Black Clover in my, my whole read through catch up process for Black Clover. I know it's as per usual, I'm really going at a snail's pace, but better this than nothing at all. So I hope you guys be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers, and I would really appreciate the support in this journey to YouTube greatness. But it is what it is. But getting right into it. So with today's Black Clover video, I'm getting back, or I'll be talking about the manga. For those of you who have been watching my videos, you know the last Black Clover video I did was on my impressions for the Black Clover anime. So yeah, but anyway, today we're going back to the manga, and with today's video we'll be talking about, specifically, since I'm kind of freestyling this, I'm just drawing from memory, but we're talking about roughly chapters 35 to about, hold on, let me just kind of bring up my browser here. Yeah, to about chapter 75. So yeah, about 40 chapters, give or take, which I think is a good section to talk about. So it takes us from the end of the invasion of the Eye of the Midnight Sun to the well, just past the end of the underwater temple arc. So getting into it, I just have to, oh wait, hold on, let me put my phone on like do not disturb. Just want to have like a casual discussion with you guys. So I must say a disclaimer, or not even a disclaimer, just to start off. Honestly, Black Clover, without a shadow of a doubt, is a great series. It's, if nothing else, it has been pretty fun to read. Between, from the quirkiness of the characters, how they interact with each other, and just the pacing, which I always say that I've said this from the first Black Clover I did, specifically with the manga, the pacing continues to be the best friend of the series in the face of overwhelming cliches. So yeah, fun to read. Can't emphasize that enough. But let's break this into subsections because I'll be jumping all over the place. So I have my notes here, so yeah. But anyway, the first thing I want to say about this span of chapters, I want to talk about the Wizard King himself, Julius Novachrono. Now, for those of you who don't remember, one of the main reasons that I actually started doing this Black Clover coverage as a series on my channel was to actually contrast and compare and tackle the criticisms that I see Black Clover get as being a ripoff of Naruto, kind of just analyze it for myself and just highlight the, as I would say, the nuance, the subtle differences that makes Black Clover worthy of being a series of its own, basically just combating the criticisms I see the series get. And honestly, Julius, in this case, the Wizard King, if we're comparing Naruto and Black Clover, obviously Julius fills the role of the Hokage in this scenario. Obviously. And honestly, I actually like I mean, if we're comparing apples to apples, it's the third Hokage versus Julius. But in comparing the two series, I actually like the execution of Julius's role in the story compared to the Hokage at this point in time in Naruto's story, like what, 75 chapters in. Reason being, he's one of those characters who are, I would say, overwhelmingly powerful, and characters like that usually, when they really get to go all out, they usually die. I might be spoiled. I think I did see something with Julius dying, so just in case you want to put in the comments that, wait until he sees this. So yeah. But the thing is, what I like about how it's executed with Wizard King in this series is that our main character strives to be the Wizard King, right? Of course, it's therefore important to showcase what it means to be Wizard King, as I have it here in my notes. And that ranges from his power, how he actually functions in his political role, and basically his weaknesses. And I think Black Clover actually does a pretty good job of showcasing all of that, because we have the dynamic between Julius and the king, who hasn't really had much of a presence, but we are shown, or basically we're told the dynamic between the Wizard King and actual king of the country, which is good, just similar to like the feudal lord and the Hokage within Naruto. But in Naruto, we didn't really have much of the feudal lords at all, even 700 chapters in. So, yeah. So it's good to see stuff like that. See him actually play an active role in the conflicts that are taking place within the Clover Kingdom, as well as highlighting that he does not have the answer for everything. I think it really sets him up as a, and his quirkiness, it really sets him up as a like a very um how should I put it? He's a lovable character, to say the least. Like, I really just enjoy his character and everything it represents for the story. I really get to see what it means to be Wizard King. We know he did tell Yuno and Asa that what's important is results, but seeing him going out, from rescuing Asta to, playing an active role in interrogation to, cheering ceremonies, making statement speeches. With Naruto, it was just seeing the third Okage just make speeches, preside over like functions like the Chunin exams, and we didn't really get to see him fight until Orochimaru, and in that one fight he dies. So yeah, even if Julius does die eventually, at least we got some showings. Probably not his full power, but all in all, I really like what we're getting with the Wizard King in comparison to what his character would be in a series like Naruto, which is the Hokage. So I definitely like that. Now, honestly, in this span of chapters, right, we have a lot of dynamics being built, a lot of relationships being built between Asta and the members of the Black Bulls, ranging from, I would say, the deity Asta had with Finral, the triple deity Finral, Locke and him, and the three girls, Rebecca and the two other girls. Hopefully I got the name right. It should be Rebecca, right? Yeah. So just that, the arc where we had Asta, going out with Gauche, yeah, and just the whole arc leading up to the fight with Licht. I mean, and even with the underwater temple. What I like about all the dynamics and relationships that are built between Asta and the crew and the company and the Black Bulls in general is that, unlike Naruto, where it's made a point where Naruto basically convinces his opponents to back down the fabled Talk no Jutsu. What I like about Asta in this case, in building these relationships, is that he doesn't have to go out of his way to like necessarily give them a speech. Yes, he's loud and everything, but that's just who he is. He forms and inspires them by just being who he is. It kind of reminds me of, say, like a Luffy in One Piece. Just these characters being who they are, it really inspires it, and it makes it feel a bit more, not even a bit, but in the grand scheme of things, it's very organic, very natural. It's not forced, it's not contrived in terms of seeing how these characters would be inspired by this guy who doesn't actually have magic. So I love those aspects of this span of chapters, honestly. And what was even funnier as well, where we had the characters being inspired by him, we had some comedic moments when they were slipping back into their old personality habits and they call themselves out on it. I found those sections pretty funny as well. So there's definitely that. Wow. Genoa, what else can I say? Alright, so let me kind of do this chronologically here as well. The mission with the Kiev, with the kids being abducted, and all of that. Yo, like, getting so much more out of Gauche, who has been kind of in the back seat until now, was pretty good as well. His sister complex is something, and it's part of his quirkiness. But at the same time, it does make for good comedy, I guess, between his banter between Asta, for the fact that Marie likes Asta a lot, and just Asta's growing harem. That's another thing. But the mission itself, what I liked about that section was just it was brief, just seeing Asta's reaction to having the kids' magic and their mana being drained and them being put into a similar situation as Asta, but at the same time Asta's willingness to not necessarily forgive the brothers for what they did, but his insistence on basically making sure they're held responsible for their actions. That is a slight nuance between what we get with like in shonen in general, because as I've put it before, each series in shonen, despite their cliches, their main characters are going to have subtle differences, subtle nuances to actually, well, subtle nuance, that sounds redundant, right? Yeah, they're going to have differences that make them stand out. So you're not going to get the same vibe from a Goku, Naruto, Luffy, Ichigo. Even though they're shonen main protagonists, there are similarities, but what I like about Asta is that he insists. It's not necessarily like your cliche. Oh, I'm just gonna forgive the villain. Hey, let's be friends and all of that. I mean, it has some of that, but he's the type of person that I like, where he wants to ensure that you're held responsible for your actions, and I kind of like that because it makes room for his morals to be tested. Like, what's it going to take for him to move from, yo, you're going to jail, you're going to do your time, to, yo, I'm just going to straight up kill you, as long as he's not forced to. You know what I mean? What would it take? So I'm looking forward to seeing some emotional struggles going forward in the story as well. Now, one thing that I do like as well, and it's becoming a trend, is the use of teamwork in the series as well. Like, up to this point, it doesn't feel like any fight, even if character X is going up against a character that's way stronger than him. Like, character X works with character Y, Z, F, whatever the case may be, and just the strategy and plan that goes into it, it doesn't feel like an ass pull, and that's basically been Black Clover from like early on, which is something that I must commend it for. Honestly, I really liked it, and obviously this was on display to its highest degree so far with where I am in the story with the fight against Veto, because honestly, in that underwater temple, nobody except for Yami really had any business in beating Veto. But just seeing how the Black Bulls actually pulled off the strategy between Vanessa and Finral and Asta to actually beat him. I mean, it was done in such a way that it made sense, making use of the strings from Vanessa, the spatial magic, Asta's key sensing, and his anti magic sword. Like, it all made sense. I really liked it, the choreography, and just how they actually went about defeating him. Even though I would consider Veto to be a character that's easily Grand Magic Knight level, if not like Wizard King level, to say the least. So based on the scaling from Licht, and just going from there, that Veto is actually stronger than Licht. So yeah, so it was just fun to see. Now, another nice aspect that I liked about this span of chapters, right, was, let's see, let's bring up the nuts. All right, so hope you guys are enjoying this casual discussion, because I probably don't plan to edit this like too much. Yeah, so hope you guys are enjoying. And you can let me know what you think in the comment section below as well. But what I like about this span of chapters, the fact, like, what the Eye of the Midnight Sun stands for, especially the character of Licht. Um, it feels like Licht is like an alternative version of Asta. What I like about that is that he's tackling the whole theme of classism, or the contradiction of the goodness of the Clover Kingdom, from the opposite end of the social spectrum, is what I like. Anston Star is a commoner. He's like at the bottom of the barrel, but it seems like Licht has like a contrasting, like he's at the opposite end of the spectrum. He starts at the top, where he has all the power, which is coveted by, which I would assume at this point, the previous, citizens of the Clover Kingdom, right? Um, and it's what I like about that is that it sets up the potential for a character like Licht to question how, what the Magic Knights really stand for in this kingdom. Because one of the things is that we have characters like Figolian, right? And he's obviously honorable and everything. But although that is the case, we do know one of the themes of the series is classism, and further than that, emphasized by Lick, it's the whole contradiction of everything that the Clover Kingdom stands for. We have persons who are actually starving. I mean, persons who are treated unfairly just because you're a foreigner, like Yami. And it's this darker side of the Clover Kingdom that Licht is targeting, that I'm interested in seeing how Asta and the rest of the Magic Knights actually change from, the conflict that's brewing with the Eye of the Midnight Sun. Because, I mean, for the most part, we're not really shown a lot of we're shown, but not really shown like the exact specifics of this unfair treatment, this contradiction within the Clover Kingdom, but it is there. And it's characters like Lick that come in at the right time to challenge the status quo, and it's through conflict with characters or groups like what the Eye of the Midnight Sun is what's going to change and develop and grow characters like Asta and the rest of the Magic Knights at the same time. So I like that. It's kind of like Pain to Naruto, but early on, if you get what I mean, which is what I like. So I'm actually interested in seeing where the story goes from that point of view, conflict wise. So just let me know what just let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, if I'm right on the ball with that one in terms of what Licht really and his group really represents. So there is that. Wow. So much things to talk about with this video. So wow. It's obviously unscripted at this point. All right, so the next thing, Noelle. And I've said it before, Noelle. I think I did it in my second Black Clover video, if not the last one. But just having a main female character like Noelle being executed like she is in Black Clover, honestly, it's refreshing to see. Especially when you contrast and compare this to Sakura Haruno in Naruto, because Sakura had potential, but I don't think Kishimoto really executed things to the point where Sakura could have lived up to her potential. But Tabata, it is Yuki Tabata, right? Yeah, he is doing wonders with Noelle. I really do love what the character represents and how her rise to power within these 75 span of chapters really links back to the rules that Tabata has set up in terms of growth for the series, for like the wizards, the magicians, whatever the case may be, and just how Noel's mental health relates to the rules that he's really put in place, and just the proactiveness and all the interactions that she's had with characters like Fagolian and her family and Asta and the Black Bulls has just kind of made way for this roadmap, for this like limitless potential for a character to grow as a female character. And honestly, the series, I've heard persons say it before, if the series was centered around Noelle as the main character, it could work. And it's just refreshing to see contrasted and compared to the main female character from Naruto, which is good. Just her training, her learning new magic in the underwater temple, just how everything relates back to it's good. It's good. So there is definitely that. Jenna, probably shouldn't have freestyled this video. One thing I can say, Yami is obviously the true main character in all of this. I really just respect Yami. I think everybody who watches Black Clover obviously does. Like him on this body of Fritz. So so I don't know how better to put it than that. Like Yami's just Yami. He is the man. Like honestly, in these span of chapters, like he's just been great, and I can see where the potential is for his character to not just Yami but all of the Black Bulls, for them to have their own path to greatness as characters. You know, outside of establishing, lovable or interesting characters using quirkiness, establishing and bouncing characters off each other, learning from each other, being inspired by each other, and creating a roadmap for them to essentially grow, and for us to be invested in that growth, that path of growth. It's always fun and interesting to see stuff like that, and I think Tabata's really crafted that with the Black Bulls, really. So yeah, I'm interested to see where the story is going, and at this point, I don't know if you guys would still be interested in having me contrast and talk about the differences between this and Naruto, or just stick solely to just talking about Black Clover for Black Clover's sake at this point. At this point, I don't think it's obvious. Black Clover is a series by itself. I don't think you can. There's similarities being it's in the same genre as Naruto, but I think at this point I don't necessarily need to contrast and compare and highlight the differences between it and Naruto anymore. But let me know if you guys are still interested in me doing comparisons like that in this Black Clover journey catching up. So yeah. Um is there anything I'm missing? I feel like I've kind of just talked about all of this on the surface level, even though we're going like 21 minutes now and counting for this video. But honestly, I didn't want to make this too, I just wanted to make this casual in terms of that time and the fact that I kind of can, but but yeah, I kind of just wanted to make this kind of casual in terms of just talking with you guys in terms of my experience with these 40 chapters, honestly. Black Clover, and honestly, even with I'm at chapter 75, as I said, the Diamond Kingdom is basically invading. Honestly, I said it and I say it again, but the pacing is the best friend of this series. Honestly, the manga is pretty fun to read. I'll throw in a tidbit about the anime here because I'm at episode 44, give or take. I have been requested to do live reactions for episodes 47 and 49, but I'll say this: I can see why persons have a problem with the animation for the anime here and there. I mean, granted, it's a weekly series. You can't really expect greatness every week, but I can see why persons have a problem with the anime from that perspective. There have definitely been some scenes which have been honestly underwhelming, to say the least. But the anime is still good. As persons have said, it definitely drags its feet in the first 15 to 20 episodes, but it definitely picks up. So that's all I'll say about that. For now, until I probably do a next anime video for Black Clover. But yeah, guys, I mean, I think I've covered it all. I've talked about Licht and his group and how I think they affect the story, how they affect the main characters and their development. Talk about the Black Bulls. I've talked about the Wizard King. At the same time, this isn't necessarily like a review, so that's why I'm kind of all over the place and not really talking or breaking back down like each arc, even though it's really and truly only about 2 arcs in the 30 chapters. Yeah, the build up to the fight with Licht and the introduction to the third eye, which I like their characters as well. The designs in Black Clover are pretty cool. Beto, definitely cool. Raya and Fauna, definitely cool. Am I missing anything? Jano. If I'm missing anything, just let me know in the comment section below. We can talk it out there because this video is getting really long. But as I said, Black Clover is a pretty great series, honestly, and I hope it gets the payoff that it deserves in the long run. I know I've heard Tabata say that he could make it as long as One Piece, but the thing is, One Piece needs to be that long. If Black Clover needs to be that long, then fine. Just carry out what you're trying to accomplish to the best of your abilities. And I think that's how series needed to be judged. It's not about the length, but I'm hoping to see great things, or greater things Yeah, greater things from Black Clover. But anyway, this video's gone on a bit long, but yo, be sure to subscribe. We're on our way to 1,000 subs, guys. Hope you stuck around, or if you stuck around till this long in the video, I hope you guys enjoyed everything I had to say in terms of my experience with these 40 chapters. I'm balancing, juggling both the anime and the manga, so I'll definitely probably do another update video in terms of talking about my, what I think. Probably when I hit around chapter, I don't know. You guys can suggest a chapter. I don't know. So yeah. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe, share this video out if persons are interested in a newcomer talking about your experience about Black Clover. Hit the notification bell, comment. Let's talk in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next Black Clover video.